Do you think the guys that we're taking out are the best of the crop? Are what we would consider to be, a new striking force?
I would say so. Obviously, Rio Ferdinand's a massive miss. He would have captained the side, but he's out injured. He injured his knee in training. David Beckham undoubtedly would have been in the squad, I believe. And he'll be a miss for perhaps different reasons. I don't think he would have started games or as many games as perhaps he would have done in the past. However, his influence and just the Beckham circus that goes around, I think that would have done people like Wayne Rooney a massive favour. There's going to be a lot of focus on Rooney this tournament, especially from the English press, and just having someone like Beckham there just automatically means that it's not all focused on Rooney. You can talk about David Beckham, but even if he's going to warm the bench and earn so many caps as he has done, just because it's David Beckham, people talk about him. So I think he'll be a miss as well.
Can we talk about Stevie?
Yeah.
Because I'm showing my little crumb of knowledge here, but I saw one of the interviews he gave. I was on one of the appearances at the press conference last night, I think it was. A lot of people kind of not finding him inspiring. We know he's a great footballer. There's no doubt about that. But I don't know. There's that kind of lack of inspiration. People don't find. People want footballers to be big personalities. They want them to be, the Beckhams, the shining lights. They want them to be characters. How do you think that affects our perception?
You mean in terms of the type of captain that Gerrard will be?
Yeah.
I think that Steven Gerrard is undoubtedly a world-class footballer. He's performed fantastically well for Liverpool over the years. I don't think he had the best of seasons last year by his exceptional standards. And he's been a truly inspirational captain for Liverpool. But there is just a sense of a bit like, well, he's actually our third choice captain in a way. John Terry, of course, was removed from the position because of all the controversies with his private life and so on.
It's a tiny grain compared to what goes on in the terraces. You go to. I've been to a couple of games up here in the northwest and was quite staggered by, even not being a sports fan particularly, but just how emotionally involved you get into that, because the passion is there and you can't help but be drawn with that. So all of that being concentrated onto the players on the pitch, particularly in international competitions as well, because of course you've got how many fans will we take out there, do you think?
I'm not sure, to be honest. We got one of the largest followings. I think the prediction was between 25 and 30,000. So
right.
Quite
and
a
is there one
number.
Key stadium, or are there several? Different
they are
centres,
dotted around.
Right.
Unfortunately, in a way, or fortunately, whichever way you look at it. If you live in Rustenburg, probably fortunately. Our first game against the Americans is in Rustenburg, which compared to some of the other cities in South Africa is nowhere near as big. For example, it's got one bar. I think the owner will be very, very pleased, because they'll be earning an absolute fortune over the next couple of days. But it's got one bar, and the ground's nowhere near as big as some of the other stadiums there. So it just happens that wherever the draw comes out, that's where you're going to play. So it'd be interesting to see as well how South Africa copes. It's a massive, massive event for Africa. It's hugely significant. And I think a lot of blind faith in a way, was placed in South Africa by giving it them. There's been so many doubters, over the course of perhaps the last 8 years since they were awarded it, that perhaps they wouldn't be able to do it. And they've shown that, listen, we can build stadiums, we can get them ready on time. I just hope that the whole tournament passes and we're talking about football and nothing else. We've obviously had a couple of incidents with fans being crushed at matches and things like that. Luckily, no one's been killed or anything like that at the moment, but fans have been injured, so it's something that they're going to have to keep on top on, because there is such a level of excitement as well, and there's this real novelty value of the tournament being in a place like South Africa, when last time it was in a place like Germany, who were more than used to hosting international sporting events like this. But I think it's a really good thing for it to be somewhere else. It gives it a completely different flavour. And why shouldn't they be able to host it? They've shown that they're capable. So
absolutely, and some nice surprises come out of situations like that.
Yeah,
as well,
of course. Yeah.
Now our first match is tomorrow.
Yep.
We're against the USA.
Yep.
Who most people, I'm sure, sitting at home think, hang on a second, USA don't play football.
They're not bad.
Football's very, very low on their agenda, though, isn't it? In terms of sport, are they any good?
They actually are.
Are they?
They actually are. It should be an interesting game. America.
It sounds wrong, doesn't it? It just sounds wrong. They have so many of their own sports that kind of lowly little soccer, as they call it. You know, you just think it's so way off their agenda.
Well, of course, you've got baseball, ice hockey, basketball, American football. These are all massive, massive sports over there. But America's one of those places that even if you've only got a small sort of minority of people who are interested in a sport, they've got the resources and the money and just the amount of people that if they want to be good at something, listen, this nation will be good at it because that's just the way they work. The last sort of international tournament was the Confederations Cup, where people who've won tournaments in different areas around the world, so for example Spain went there because they won Euro 2008, the European Championships. All the nations came together and America beat Spain. Now Spain are the favourites for this year's World Cup. They absolutely breezed through qualification. They breezed through Euro 2008, winning that. I think it's the only competitive game they've lost in years, and that was against the Americans. The Americans eventually got beat by Brazil in the final of the Confederations Cup, so they're no mugs at all. This is a good football.
Are there any particular players in the USA team that we need to look out for?
The one I would say for definite is Landon Donovan, who is actually a teammate of David Beckham.
He sounds 7'6".
Oh no, he's only small.
Right, okay.
But he has a massive influence on games. He's an excellent footballer. He had a loan spell at Everton last season in the Premier League and made a real impact there. He was only there for a short space of time. It was a similar deal that took Beckham to AC Milan just while the American off season was happening, so he could carry on playing football and be fit for the World Cup. And now Beckham has been banned from speaking to Landon Donovan in the period up to the World Cup because Landon Donovan thinks that it could be a spy, because obviously England are playing America in the first game, and he doesn't want
suspicious, those Americans, aren't they?
So that was quite interesting that they're not allowed to talk, because apparently they are reasonably good friends, obviously being teammates from LA Galaxy. He's the one player. There's another lad up front called Josie Altidore who had a loan spell at Hull in the Premier League last year. Now, he didn't perhaps do as well as he might have done, but he had a good Confederations Cup, which was a tournament I was just talking about. And he's a big, awkward forward, perhaps a bit like Emil Heskey for England, who just a player of his size and strength and pace can always cause defences problems. So it'd be interesting to see just how the dynamic works. Of course, a lot of the American players have played in England now as well, so you've got that sort of Premier League link.
Is that because there isn't such a big deal of it made in America? Is there still more profile to be had in the UK compared to America? I mean, trying to break America in any kind of field is very, very difficult. But particularly, I keep saying this, but and I guess I'm probably wrong, but it feels to us as if football is quite a minority sport for them, because we hear so much more.
I think there is that part of it. The MLS, the Major League Soccer, which is their top league, similar to our Premier League, has grown definitely over the years. Beckham's tried his best to try and raise the profile that little bit more. That he saw that as one of the big challenges of going across there to try and make it
even more popular. Did he succeed in that, do you think?
It doesn't seem like he's succeeded perhaps the way he would have wanted to. The crowds did go up, of course. There was a lot of interest in Beckham going over to play there. I think Thierry Henry
why wasn't it a bigger thing for him in your opinion?
Why
him going to America? He didn't seem to be, okay, he's a huge figure here and will always be one way or the other. And you would have thought, because they love the whole celebrity thing, they love the whole David and Victoria thing and the whole big picture that goes with them. It's not just a footballer.
No.
He's a footballer with a beautiful wife who's also a pop singer and this, that and the other. And yet it didn't really seem to have that impact, or certainly that's the perception from this side of the pond.
I think there was a lot of cynicism in America as well. When Beckham signed something like a £128 million contract over 5 years, which is an astronomical amount of money. He
gets by Ian just about.
Oh, he does fine, doesn't he? Bless him. I think it was a lot to do with the situation he was in at Real Madrid. Ironically, it was Fabio Capello who was the Madrid manager at the time. And Beckham, I don't know, he wasn't perhaps playing the best football in his career. He'd had a few problems with keeping a place in the Madrid starting 11. And Fabio Capello more or less just cast him aside when he'd agreed a deal to go to America. But Beckham has this way of turning things around, and he turned Fabio Capello's opinion around, which we've seen since he's been England manager has been a really difficult thing to do. And it come to a point where Beckham managed to force his way back into the team and went across to America on a bit of a fanfare. Now, I think if that had happened before he'd agreed a deal, I don't know whether he would have gone across to America. And of course, he's been back at AC Milan and done fantastically well there. Unfortunately for England, though, he's not going to be in our squad. He has travelled with the squad and he's going to liaise between the player and staff. But unfortunately for us, he's not going to be performing on the pitch.
Do you know what, Ian? For someone who doesn't talk sport, and that'll be me, we have just... How long did we do then? 25 minutes, was it? At least 25 minutes.
Are you excited?
It's gone like that. I am.
Good.
Quick score prediction for tomorrow.
England, America, optimistically 2-1 to England, I think. I think they'll score first. There has to be a bit of drama where we're involved.
Right, okay. I'll go with, what did you say, 2-1?
2-1, yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna be a bit more optimistic than you because we've got to do a bit of prediction for the England games. So I'm going to say 3-1.
3-1, fair enough.
You never know. 3-1. No, actually, can I make that 3-2? Let's make it 3-2.
Okay.
You go 2-1, I'll go 3-2. We'll see.
So we think it's going to be tight, don't we?
Yeah, definitely. But we've got to get it. We've got to get it. It's our first game. We've got to get it. Now,